Welcome back to another episode of Talking That Ish and Scheme podcast. We are back in our safe spaces we call
Treetop Studios.
All right, guys. So you can see we're going big screen today. We bringing in all the heat, all the fire, everything. So Ish, tell them why these people are here. Break it down for me.
So just to refresh everyone's memory, 2 episodes ago, we spoke about having friendships of the opposite sex while you're in a relationship and what you thought about it. Were you against it? Were you for it? How do you communicate that with your partner? And so many more things. Basically, Wes hit me up and he was kind of going off about it. I don't know what your communication with Jay was. And I hit up my cousin Nadia because me and her, from time to time, we're in communication about different topics that we touch base on. So we brought in these people and we want to have a bigger discussion because obviously it touched some chords and we want to hear what everyone else thinks aside from me and Skeen.
Right. So before we bring these people on, obviously we got Wes in the building. He was on episode 2. No, he was on episode 3.
Yes,
Wes
3.
Back. My man Jay, me and Jay go way back. I'm talking about Kids Foot Locker days, back in the days. Honestly, Wes, Jay's a sneaker connoisseur. This guy went viral on a Foot Locker video where my man was just touching shoes and he knew exactly what shoe it was. And it was some like Professor Wizard type stuff. The hardest one that I thought, he not getting that one, was the last shoe. You remember what the last shoe was?
I'm trying to remember what it was. It was the Iverson joint. It was the Iverson joint.
Right. So
Yeah.
my man
Now
Jay,
it was tough. It was tough though, but I felt that honeycomb bubble and I knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? Skino, they know, man. I used to do stock for you. You know how many Reebok Iversons I touched?
that's all about sneaker connoisseur himself, and of course Nadia, Isha's cousin. So we're glad to have you here. I was hoping to see her, but she's incognito. She needs
Respect.
So
She's in a Teams meeting right now.
Yeah, she's probably doing.
Sorry, guys, I'm pretty messy.
That's all right. So we're gonna start with Wes. Wes, give us what you thought of the topic. What made you reach out?
I reached out because I personally felt like it was a little shaky. I feel like as a man, I have a lot of workplace female friends. I worked at a lot of jobs where I was one of 1, 2, maybe 3 dudes. I can't come to work every day and just be like, well, can't be your friend. Not allowed to have friends of the opposite sex. So I was like, nah, that's a little shaky. And then Ish, who is my friend from an extremely large friend group, I was always in a relationship almost every single time we met new people.
Right.
And if I lived by that standard, I wouldn't be friends with Ish. I wouldn't be friends with Christine. I wouldn't be friends with Chrisanne. I wouldn't be friends with none of y'all because I would have been like, back away, woman. I have a girlfriend. You can't be my friend. And that's why I felt like, nah, it ain't right. Like, you can have friends of the opposite sex as long as you know there's boundaries and it's legit platonic. Don't get me wrong. A lot of dudes really don't do the platonic thing very well.
Right.
But if you set that standard and y'all really are genuinely friends, I think it works.
But that's the thing. So I feel like you said, okay, setting that standard. I feel like for me personally, I'm not opposed to it. Like, I have guy friends, obviously, you, Ree, like all those guys. And they were here in my life for quite some time. So for me, if I was to get into a relationship now, that person would have to understand that these people have been here in my life for 10 years, 5 years, whatever the case may be. And we have a very close relationship, one of them being my best friend. And that's not something that's going to change. But you saying, you have to set the standard. Obviously, with somebody coming into your life, I think it's all about how comfortable you make that individual feel. Are you bringing them around these people? Are you letting them know, hey, this is, whoever the person is, and that's all that it is, whatever the case it is, or however it's going to be to make it comfortable for that person that you're bringing into your life on that romantic level. So I think it's different. Some people don't make it comfortable for the other person, and that's when it becomes difficult. But if you guys are on the same page and everything is understood, then I don't see why there should be an issue.
Right. Nadia, what's your thoughts? I know you're getting ready for Christmas. I mean, excuse me, for Halloween here, so we can. But give me your opinion. What's going on?
I mean, I don't think it's as black and white as believing whether you can or can't be friends with the opposite sex. It's just the boundaries that you have around it and just finding someone who aligns like with those boundaries. And depending on the relationship you're in, maybe you're adhering to like different boundaries depending on the values of the other person. So it's just up to you to decide whether or not it's like worth having those boundaries if the person is worth it, really.
Nice. And Jay, what was your thoughts? Why you reached out?
Oh man, I was just like everybody else, man. My blood was boiling and shit. I had to reach you out and DM you, man. Um, the funny thing is, I think the reason why everybody gets so worked up is because there's no really right answer, right? Because it all depends on a person's history. It all depends how you make the other person feel and stuff like that. So I think that's why everybody really get kind of hot and bothered when this topic get brought up. You know what I mean? Because it's like if you and your significant other have a certain situation set up, you know, another couple might look at it like, man, that's wild. Like I don't do that, right? And then so on and so on and so on. But like, if you ask me opinion about having opposite sex friends, that's it's a thin line, but and it's somewhat like a love and hate thing. It's a real thin line. Let's just put it that way. But like I said, there's a lot of people here that got history. You know, they got old friends. You know, before you met that person, and I get all that. I get all that. But I'm old school. Once we get together, that whole dynamic got to change. So I don't know how people feel in that. That's just my opinion. You know.
Is it? Can it be? I see Ish is ready to go. But can it be?
Ooh, I know. I see her. Oh man, she's about to come out the screen.
No, check it out real quick.
Look at my camera, look.
Is it pretty much? I guess you're basing your answer pretty much on history, right? On the experience that you had. Maybe Jay had that experience where he had Shorty and Shorty had this dude, and dude was break the glass in case of emergency. So that's that. It can be something that Wes has experienced nothing in that because he set boundaries, and when he kind of felt something wasn't not, you know what I'm saying, plain black and white, then he kind of diverted. And Nadia could be the same way, right? So I'm asking this question to the ladies before East jumps on, so I can hear it from both of them. Have you had, or were you ever in a situation where there's a friend there, but you kind of figure like, hey, hold on, like what's going on? He might be liking me, and I need to cut you off. What would be your situation? If you had that experience, obviously you're gonna answer that. But if you haven't, how would you react to that? So either one can start.
Go ahead, Nadia.
I didn't follow that question, to be honest.
Oh.
it's a two-part question. Oh, it's tougher. Let's just do one. Let's do one at a time.
What we're doing is kind of, the question is real simple. Have you had a situation where you had a friend, a male friend, and he was kind of crossing that line? How did you handle it? If you haven't been through that situation, how would you handle it? So have you, or how would you handle it if you did not go through that as of yet?
Yeah, I have not gone through that, but I would just cut them off, plain and simple. So
Okay, but what if you were like, you know, best friends with this person, and you know they expressed all their feelings for you, and you know kind of pushed you away? Would you still cut them off, or would you have to have a conversation with them? Like, does that matter to you if you guys are super close or not?
I mean, I just have to like reassess the whole friendship or relationship with them at that point. It wouldn't, we aren't on the same page, so I wouldn't know what to do with that.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely happened to me. It happened to me with someone who I became really close with, and you know, I'm like, okay, you know, we're like basically best friends. We talk day in, day out. Um, did so many, you know, different things together, spoke about so many different things, and then their feelings were expressed to me, and I basically let them know like, hey, I don't want to ruin our friendship and what we've built up as far as that goes. I'm not interested in you in that way. But again, I don't want to ruin our friendship. Like, I hope, you know, we can just keep it where it's at. And that kind of went completely south to me, the way, things ended up. It wasn't taken well.
Right.
And that friendship,
So my thing, you guys are not friends anymore.
no, we're not.
So that was his agenda, right? That was his agenda. Be close to you as possible, with an opportunity to be like, yo, let me walk. So there's an agenda to everything, right? So there's gonna be true friendships where it's just a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question and be honest. It's yes or no.
Okay.
No crap. How attractive was this gentleman?
He wasn't ugly. He just wasn't my type. That's all.
Cool.
Um,
That plays. I'm not saying that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm not saying that it plays into it, but sometimes it's just that level of, nah, he you know what I mean? He's not my type. But my question would be like, how about if he was your type?
But see, I have to say that does play into it in some cases. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, no, it doesn't. But there are also certain characteristic traits that you pick up on. And sometimes it's just like, wow, like, I really can't see myself with this person.
Yeah.
Like, even if I wasn't attracted to them, the attraction wouldn't be something I'd be like, oh, I'm going to put this aside. No, because there are traits that play into it that, you could see tolerating as a friend, but you can't see tolerating as a romantic partner and building something within the future, because that's going to have an effect on the relationship at the end of the day. As a friendship, it's totally different. You're not committing to somebody in that manner for the rest of your life. It's just like, okay, that's how you are. I can't do shit about it. Maybe I'll say something here and there as your friend just to let you know, look, why are you like this? But it's not my job. It's not my responsibility to shape that. But if you were my partner, then I would say maybe that's more so my responsibility to help you build your character in a different light.
Right. So, gentlemen, pretty much for you guys, right, and myself as well. Have you ever had that friend, that female friend that tried to cross over or try to play some type of shenanigans and games and try to get basically with you, right? So, Wes, anything like that?
I'll just be honest. As a guy, the odds of that are way lower. But most women aren't looking at us potentially as in like, oh, I want you, you're my friend. I feel like from my experience, any woman that found me attractive or were interested, they were pretty blunt up front. It wasn't like a long-standing friendship and then out of nowhere, hey, I like you. Right. It's a little bit more of like that first 2-3 weeks kind of feeling you. It doesn't usually get that long to be a long-standing friendship. I could say on the opposite end, though, I definitely had a friend that I was feeling, and this goes back to college, and she basically nipped it in the butt pretty quick. Like, nah, I don't see you like that. We were young, so who knows what it could have been at the time. But we actually kept our friendship going because she held me down. She was just like, nah, I just don't see you like that. Right. But we together for so long, it probably goes back to what Aisha said, where the more you know about somebody, you know a lot about whether you really want to be in a relationship with them before you're in a relationship with them.
Exactly.
Friendship can definitely show you the writing on the wall before you even get there. Right. And I kind of get where she was coming from. Like, nah, we in school, we do this, we do that. I don't like this. I don't like. It probably wouldn't have worked. She was probably 1,000% right.
Right.
And I was looking at was attraction. Right. But we stayed cool because of other characteristics that we both shared. That we ended up still keeping a pretty good friendship. Like, her birthday was like 4 days ago. We still give each other happy birthdays. I'm 37, so you got to do the math. That's almost 20 years. We still
right.
So,
but yeah, same thing with you, Jay.
Yeah, I've been on both sides. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been on the side where I had the female friend and I'm trying to work my magic. I'm trying to get in, and the thing with women, they're really smart. So if you have them as a friend, they're really not blunt or forward if they're really attracted to you, right? So they like kind of spin their web on you thing. So they'll, hit certain stuff, say certain things to show that they're interested, but they're trying to see where you're going with it. Unlike us men, that we're more like, yo, what's up? You know what I mean? Trying to get in between. You know what I'm saying? So women are always going to be more smart than us when it comes to certain stuff, and that's probably one of the most things that pops out in my head. But I just feel like, if you think about it, right? Not all, but 99% of the relationships that you get into, what were you guys before you were in a relationship? Friends, right?
For the most.
For the most part. For the most part. For the most part, it could be co-workers, well, you know, but in that like base, it's friendship because you have to be friends with people on your job. You gotta be friends with people in your school. You gotta have some type of things in common,
Yeah.
and that's where it gets. Like I said, that's where it gets a little shaky for me when it comes to the whole male female, you know, friendship thing. And in my experience,
Right.
I have a question.
shoot.
Jay, I'm sorry, it's not for you, it's for Wes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was ready because you know, like you I don't know. All right, got it.
Wes, you
What's the
said that, okay, you were talking about this shorty that you were into in college, and a few days ago was her birthday, and you wished her a happy birthday.
Mhm.
You're you said that, okay, you were into the shorty back in college, and a few days ago was her birthday, and you wished her a happy birthday, but you're in a whole different relationship right now. Does it affect your current relationship at all? Do you communicate about that in your current relationship at all, that you're still in communication with, that you were interested in back in the day?
Oh, I'm gonna just say my girl name Todd. It's just easier than me saying girlfriend, whatever. Todd know all. I'll tell Todd anything in a heartbeat, but that's why our relationship works so well. Is because I'll tell her like, "Yo, shorty in college, mad thick. I used to love her. What happened? She ain't like me."
He got
Like,
more balls than me. He got more balls than me.
but
I'm like,
but we're very.
Yes, use a wild boy, but go ahead.
Nah, I'm just at the end of the day, whoever I'm going to be attracted to, whoever I'm going to be with, they more or less kind of gotta gel with my vibe. So if you're not kind of like rocking with how I am, we're probably not going to be in a relationship. I'm very much I hang out with my friends. My friends are male or female. I like the things I like. If you like them with me, cool. If you don't, I still want to do it. So whether you join me or not, I'm still going to watch anime. I'm still going to buy sneakers. I'm still going to go out sports. If my girlfriend likes it, cool. If she doesn't, cool. Just don't stop me.
But that's why I say, like, it's so important to communicate these things, you know?
Mhm.
If I'm somebody who's uptight and I'm like, no, you can't be friends with that bitch anymore. I don't care how long she's been around. And you're somebody who's like, I'm going to do what the hell I want, then obviously that's going to pose an issue. But if you find somebody who matches you, then there's no problem. But you have to be on the same page. Nadizia, I saw you took your mic off. You have something to add?
I had a question for the guys on the call.
Go for it.
So if you were in a situation where the girl you were with was uncomfortable with your relationship with a friend of yours, how would you respond in that situation?
who want to take this one first? I'll
Go ahead, Jay.
I'll
me. Oh, damn.
no, my bad. I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh.
So pretty much it's back to communication and understanding, right? Setting those boundaries in the front. So, like for example, let's say that female says, "Hey, I don't like that friend," right? So I have to explore that, right? Depending on the level of friendship that me and that female have. If it's a deep, deep friendship, it might be communication. All right. So in this case, I'll be like, "All right, explain to me what's going on. I don't have a funny feeling about her. I don't like her vibe, this and that, whatever." She has to give me those details. All right, cool. You got to understand and comprehend that she's coming from the outside to your world. Now, this female is part of my world. So if I feel strong about the relationship with my friend, I'm going to go back to her and say, "Listen, I'm starting a new relationship with this young lady. I'm really into her, but she just not feeling your energy. It's nothing with you. It's me and you. Our relationship is me and you. Right now, let me work this relationship. See what's going on. See, eventually, later on down the road, you guys have something in common that you can relate. But right now, it's just not going to be. I'm not going to force that, right? So my friend, I know my friend is going to be there thick or thin, no matter what, depending on the amount of years I've been with her, right? She hopefully he's going to have that understanding and reasoning. I'm still going to pursue the relationship with my partner who just asked me, "I don't like this female, please get her away," or whatever. So we don't have to, us three don't have to be like this, right? It could just be like, my friend is over here, my girlfriend is over here. So it might be something as communication. That's the way I will handle it. Now if she asks me, "All right, you need to cut her off 100%," now that's a different conversation. You know what I mean? Because it's be like, okay, did she do something that made you upset, that makes you think me and her have something going on? You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different conversation. It's depending on that. But if it's something like, hey, I'm not feeling her, I don't like her. I've had that experience before. I'm not saying I'm pausing that relationship. I just got to make sure those two people do not combine, right? Until later on. And it's been situations where, once again, my ex-wife didn't like someone. Then later on, oh, okay, they weren't the best of friends, but there was an understanding. So I don't know. That's for me. That's the way I would work for me, Nadia. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Jay. What you got?
I think it goes back to the fear unknown, and for most women, right? Because if you don't know who the person is, you don't know what she about, and it's the same thing goes for us. But I agree with all 110%. It's all about transparency. Like, and then to me, it all depends on who this female friend is. Is she important to me? Is she really not important to me? Who is this female friend to me that makes you uncomfortable? And I'll have to ask questions like, what is it about her? Like, I need, like, men are very, like, we need, like, facts. So I need to see something that made you feel uncomfortable. Did she text me? Did she say something to me? What really made you feel uncomfortable for make me cut her off? Because if we go on by this gut feeling, then we ain't going, and none of us gonna have any friends, right? So we gotta figure out where's this uncomfortability coming from, right? But like I said, but to me, it's more important who is this female person to me. I don't think I have any female friend that I'm that strong with that I can't not cut her off completely, but not push it off to the side, but like I'll be okay with it. And then it all depends how long I've been with the person in the relationship. Like, are we just starting? Has it been years? Like, it's a lot of things to think about and take in. To me, that's my opinion on things.
Go ahead, Wes.
Yes, I'm last. I agree a lot though with Oscar with the communication part of it. Like, where I got to know, why don't you like this person? What did they do? How do you feel? Like, I got to kind of have an answer. But it's a funny story because Aisha, I've told you this before. My girlfriend, when she first met Aisha, was like, I don't like her. She had no
Wesley,
none.
I didn't even meet though. She like saw me from
She
far
just
away.
saw- yeah, and she just didn't like. And this is years ago. We talking maybe 5 years, dumb long ago. To this day, she don't even remember why. She didn't like. She gave you a hug. It felt too close. Like, that was like 100%. I'm like, literally, her man at the time was there. I'm like, that's her man right there. I don't know. It didn't feel right.
I was so upset at her too. I'm like, damn, like she doesn't even know me and she doesn't like me. Like, this is not a good feeling. I don't know, I'm being hated on. And yeah, like Wes said, my man at the time was literally right there.
Like 2 feet away. Like, and I knew both of them.
Mhm.
But I feel like, because you said you don't really have a woman in your life that's as like that important as a friend. I have a lot of women who are like really, really good friends to me, who were like there for me for a lot of things in my life, held me down. So just being like, well, my girl I'm with now don't like you, got to cut you loose. That's a little rough.
Mhm.
So it kind of just really depends how this relationship is going and who this friend is. Like, me cutting off Ish, that's hard. I don't talk to Ish every day, but you ain't gonna just tell me that ain't my friend no more.
Yeah.
And if I've been dating you for 3 months, you don't like my friends, like, whoa, you knew. Like, I'm sorry, you knew. We got to see how far this is going before you got me cutting people off, if that's even an option.
Yeah.
Hey, Nadia, how do you feel about, number one, the answers that we gave you, and how would you want that? I would say, ideally, how would you want that resolved if it was something that you were asking for from your potential mate?
Mate.
Well, the answers I feel are answers that are pretty common. These are things that I hear all the time. But I was just curious about what you guys thought. But I just got married. I've been in my relationship for 5 years now.
Congratulations.
Thanks. And this was definitely like something that we had to discuss in the beginning. So I feel like what worked and what ended up happening was just both ends have to kind of compromise around each other's different boundaries. And that doesn't mean every boundary I have was taken, or that every boundary of that he had was taken. It was more like understanding each other and just meeting in the middle. So I gave a little, he gave a little, and I feel like that's what works. So
Awesome.
when you guys first got together, how did that come up for you? How did, like, was there an experience that one of you had and, you know, you had to address it? Or did you decide, hey, this is a conversation that we should have now before we proceed with this relationship?
It was probably me. I'm kind of just I had like insecurities in the beginning. Some of them I just had to get over, and some new boundaries like that we came up with together is what he had to end up following. So again, just meeting each other in the middle.
Mhm. I like that you mentioned like the whole boundaries thing, because like in the initial episode that we had, oh, I don't know if you remember, but I had said, you know, okay, if you want to keep these friendships, and again, I'm going to remind you guys that I'm not opposed to it because I have guy friends. One of my best friends is a guy, and I can never see myself just cutting him loose for, you know, uh, because somebody, you know, coming new into my life says so. Um, so with the whole boundaries thing, like, you know, now I'll be like, hey, what are you doing? Come over, let's watch a movie, or let's just chill, or, you know, whatever, let's go grab food. But I feel like once you get into a relationship, obviously you have to outline these, the dynamic of that friendship has to change. Although you're not cutting that person loose and they're not exiting your life, you have to put it in your mind that a part of making your partner comfortable is also reshaping the boundaries of your friendship. And I feel like that's such a critical piece because, you know, if you choose to keep that person in your life, then you're going to have to also make sure that you're respecting the person that you're bringing into your life.
And it's such a like an uncomfortable conversation, right? It's like
Mhm.
how do you, you know, it's like how do you bring it up? What works for you? It's just when is the right time to like bring it up, you know? And I think that's what makes us really uncomfortable, you know? It's like, and then man, it's just really hard to put a finger on it. And I think this is why like everybody gets so worked up when it comes to this conversation, right? I don't know.
It does. And I mean, yeah, 100% it could be uncomfortable, but sometimes we have to have these uncomfortable conversations or face these uncomfortable situations, or else we're never going to get past it. You're going to, you know, it's going to be something that's going to continue to linger in your mind and it's going to bother you.
So yeah. So one thing that Jay had mentioned is when you introduce that, right? At what point do you say, "Hey, this is what's bothering me"? So a good question, because she had some success at the beginning, and now she got married 5 years later. So Nadia, when did you and your husband now, when you guys were courting each other and all that, when did you decide to? You know, I'm using fancy
You
words.
like hell, are we Amish?
Come on now, we gotta be, you know, add some like what is that word? Anyway, never
You're
mind.
making up for all your verbal fuck ups in the past.
Basically, because you know I'm just ugh. But Nadia, for sure, when did you bring that to the table and say, hey, let's talk about this? About, if you can recall, what was the time frame?
Well, I mean, within the first 6 months, but I feel like the point where you have this conversation is just when real life happens and you just have to face issues as they occur, really. So, I mean, you can do your best to bring it up as a topic early on, but really you're not going to know how the other person is really going to react until like real life happens, I think.
Did your husband give you any blowback, or was not as, hey, what's going on? Can you walk, if you want to share?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say, I mean, we both did. We were hard-headed in the beginning. So I feel like that's what a relationship is remembering it's not just this is me and this is you. You're building something different together. So things change.
I like that.
but yeah, I do. Like I said, if you guys heard, obviously you all three of you heard the first go around, but it was just like in my head, I said, hey, treat it like a job, right? 90-day check-in. So like, for example, when Wes said, yo, 3 months, you telling me like what's going on, that's when you got to sit down and be like, okay, do I see myself with this person long term, or do I see myself as just another one and done? You know what I mean? So yeah, like Jay said, it's hard, but like Nadia hit it on the head when she said, when the opportunity presents itself, right? After you've had maybe one or two or maybe three, I said three, wow, but one, two, or three times that you guys, you know, that person, you kind of not feeling that person and so on and so forth. And now you got to bring it to the table. But yeah, it's a touchy subject, right? Because that all has to do with experience. How did you experience that, right? So like for me, for example, for a long time, I was a no-go. Oh, your best friend is a dude? Boom, I'm out of here. But why? Because my experience with one of my ex-girlfriends was she had a best friend and she was cheating. So that's my experience. So at the beginning, I was like, listen, because we all put that, you go to your next relationship with that baggage of your ex or whatever, couple of relations back, that baggage is still fresh. So you haven't opened that bag up and put stuff away, right? We all just left it in the bag and put it in the back of our heads. But you have to deal with it eventually in order to grow. So that was my experience. Obviously, when I came to somebody else, I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It was more trust and stuff. But it takes time, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not something that you'll just flip the page and be like, all right, next, yay, I'm accepting everything. So yeah, like Jay said, and you know what I mean? It's just, and it's presenting that, bringing that to that table. When is the opportunity? And what's my history with it? What's my understanding with it? And then going from there.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Skane here, back to let you know and remind you that my co-host Aisha has an amazing poetry book called Treetop Echoes. It is available now on Amazon as well as Barnes and Nobles. So if you're in the market for a new book, please pick it up. You will not be disappointed in this amazing poetry book. So the name of the book, once again, Treetop Echoes, available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. Get your copy today. Talking That Ish and Skeen podcast is now available on iHeartRadio and Apple Podcast. Say word, Skeen. Word to Big Bird. So now our show, me and Ish, you know how we doing it. Talking That Ish and Skeen podcast is now available on Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. No excuse. You can't miss us. We there, we everywhere. Say word, Skeen. Word to Big Bird. So we'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys. Peace.
This conversation is hot. This conversation is hot.
It is. They got
No, Nadia. First of all, Nadia, you ain't low. I like when you said we meet in the middle. I think it was more her middle. You know how women said we met in the middle? Like she was talking about my middle. You ain't low, girl. You ain't low. But I'm gonna let you slide on that one. But yeah. But yeah. I guess like I said, it's just it's really hard to put your finger in because it all depends on people's comfortability, their experience, and then it gets a little. This is where the waves come because now you got to set the boundaries and then see what's cool for her, and then she got to see what's cool for you, and then that's when it gets into a little tug and pull, little power thing that we have. I like to call it the Cold War. You know what I mean? That men and women have. And I think that's why I feel the way I feel when it comes to male friends. Like I don't 100% you mind having them because obviously some of them been there longer than me, and who knows, they might be there after me, right? Same thing with us. We never know where it's gonna go. But I think I set like a real, I want to say strict boundary, but it's really, 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 really touchy. So I don't know.
So, all right. So I want to defend myself. I don't think that it's my middle, but what I was going to say is I feel like this conversation is good because it makes you look inward. And that's what I did. I had to face the root of why I feel a certain way and face my own insecurities and grow as a person too. So it is both people.
I like that. Just out of curiosity, Nadia, is he there listening to you having this conversation?
No.
I was kind of hoping he was in the background, just nodding his head. Yes, no.
He'll listen to this after.
But here's the thing, right? And here's the thing that popped into my head right now, like things you usually do. I think we all have to deal with that trust issue, right? It's trust.
Mhm.
It's putting your trust 100%. If you are committed to this person, because this person checks all your boxes, right? So one of the things that I've learned recently is like, before you get into a relationship, not you, Nadia, because you're locked down, you're done, right? But even in years to come, right? You make your checklist of the things that you're looking for in a person, right? And you check those boxes. This is what they need to have, whatever. It could be 5, right? But the experience is trusting those 5 and you becoming those 5 things that you want. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're easily to say, hey, I need her to be this, I need her to be that, I need her to be this, this, and the other, but we never become that, right? That's a side issue. But the whole thing is just trust. Having your trust in this person, that this person is going to take care of you like you're going to take care of them, right? Because that's the fine line. Once that line is broken and that trust is broken, it's done. And it's not only done for the person you're with, it's almost fragile for the next person, because that line is going to be so withered that any little thing they do breaks that line, right? So it's been a trust issue. I mean, we can all probably sit down and think of those people that broke our trust. And now we had to relearn and kind of help that withered line become solid again so we can trust somebody else, if that makes sense. Right, Ish?
I can understand that. I want to say, okay, your history of trust is all fucked up when you get into a new relationship. No, you shouldn't be bringing that into that new relationship. But sometimes, even when we say we're quote unquote healed and, we're past certain situations, there are maybe, things that are lingering, even when you are past it and when you think, you've grown from something. Maybe, I guess we could say it's like a trigger. Maybe we've forgiven the last person and we've gotten past certain situations, but maybe in the next relationship, someone does something and you're like, damn, like this is kind of giving me a flashback. And then you become like apprehensive of moving forward with that person, or you start having second thoughts about, just the relationship in its entirety. So I feel like you can't bring that into the new relationship, into the new environment, but there are certain things that are beyond our control as far as, your mental state goes, I feel. And I think that's something that, even though we're not intentionally bringing it into the new relationship, something that we have to work through while we're building that new relationship.
Right.
If that
Wes.
makes
No, it makes sense. Wes, what's your thoughts?
How do I feel about this?
Trust.
Hmm?
It's that trust.
I think trust has to be established fairly quickly. For
But
me, at least.
let me ask you a question, right? And this goes for everybody, but we'll start with Wes. When you meet somebody, is that trust 100% already? Do you start with 100% and work yourself down, or you start from 0 and work yourself up? Just
To
go.
give you like a better way, I won't say it's like there's no 100, there's no negative. You're just even.
Okay.
That's how I say it. Everybody starts off on the same. You're on level 1. I trust you as much as I can for the moment. I don't know how much I can trust you with, but you're not going into it with no trust.
Okay.
That's how it starts off. You're starting off with, we can go to or from. I might not give you the keys to my car the first week I know you, but by week 4, oh yeah, you can drive my car.
Okay.
Oh, here, you can take my debit card, go get something. Like, it's like you build up levels of what I feel like I'm just comfortable letting you do, and vice versa.
Damn, credit card 4? That's crazy.
I was about to say he moves quick. This man knows what he wants.
There's like, nobody starts off where I don't trust you. It's just a matter of who I trust you with. Like, do I trust you with my feelings the first day? Do I trust you with my finances? Do I trust you with meeting my friends? Do I trust you with? It's like, what am I allowed to trust you with? It builds up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just starts at the ground level of like, I trust you with normal stuff. Like, you're not gonna let a car hit me if we're crossing the street. Like I trust you for basics.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you feel the same way, Jay?
I feel like this. It goes back to what we're saying, and it's common sense, right? Right. If you don't trust them, there's no reason why you're with the person, because why you with them, right? So it all goes back to that. But I think before you trust anybody else, you should trust yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's all about growth. It's all about the experience I've been through, the experience I seen other people been through, and kind of like take what you learn. Sometimes we'll set up a rule that's maybe a little too harsh, or sometimes we set up rules that's a little bit too lenient. So we don't really know where exactly where to stand. So it's a day by day thing, right? That's how I feel, but to be honest, before you trust anybody, always trust yourself. And I think once you understand yourself and what you've been through, I think each relationship that you go through, whether it's 1, 2, 10, you get a little bit better at it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can agree with that, even, from a female perspective, or at least from my perspective. Like, I feel like I'm definitely somebody who goes into a relationship. And Wes, I like the way you explained it, because usually I'd say I go in with 100% trust, but in reality, it's not 100% trust. You are at level 1. It's not negative. It's not positive. It's just neutral. But Nadezi, I'm kind of curious. Obviously, you're married. You're all in already. When you guys started dating at first, how did you go into that relationship with him?
Well, I mean, as you know, we met online. So I start with closer to no trust. I feel like before trust is like security, and being put in situations where they repeatedly have to kind of make you feel secure, then you're able to develop trust.
Okay.
That's crazy because Nadia, that's the way I feel. I give him no trust. You haven't earned anything. You got to build the trust. That's the way I feel. Matter of fact, you know what? The reason why I asked this question is because our next topic, when me and Ish do the next podcast, is going to be on trust. And I came across this in the last 2 weeks. So there's different thoughts and the different patterns of people. Like Wes said 50%, level 1, that type of thing, right? And then Ish, you agree with him, level 1. But to
Yep.
me, 0. You start with 0. And then you got to earn. I don't give the topic away, but it was broken down into 4 levels. And I was just like mind blown because it was just like crazy. But then you got to stay tuned for that one.
Oh, you cold.
So
Cold, brother.
I got to throw teasers. But no, I agree with Nadia. It's just, for me, it's just when we start, you got to earn it. You haven't earned anything from me. Just like I haven't earned anything from you. So I have to prove that I'm worthy of your time, your commitment, and your energy. Right. And vice versa. Right. So I kind of agree with her. Yet, like, you have to start at nothing and then you got to earn it. Doesn't mean, it doesn't mean if, you're going to agree with them 100%. Obviously, getting to the top level is something beyond, but no, it's just I agree with her. Just absolutely nothing. You guess nothing, and then you gotta earn and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was just something, a little type of nugget that I wanted to throw out there just to get you guys. And exactly that's what I was hoping for, which is just different ideas and different levels about the word trust. And then I love that. You know what I mean? But
But
okay, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, funny enough, my husband is the exact opposite. He trusts people fully until you give him a reason not to trust you. And
Yo,
I'm the other way. So.
Yo, I might have to have your husband on the podcast for next time.
Yeah.
No, it was just something that there's some people like Nadia's husband that goes in 100%, 100% committed to trust. And then they start chipping it down. So it's like having a house and then start demolishing it little by little. And then it's hard to, but in this case it worked because, hey, he's married. You know what I'm saying? But there's some people that never recover because they started out at 100% and then they start withering away. And then they're left with level 1 or the first floor. And then now they're trying to build a foundation on it, which is not strong enough, if that kind of makes sense. But in this case, Nadia's husband, hey.
Yeah, I actually agree with Nadia's husband too. I'm kind of the same way because I'm a people person. When I am, and it goes back to teach me how you want me to treat you, right? So I don't really think we go in. I'm gonna give you the full benefit of the doubt when I meet you, and then little by little, you can only pretend for so long. You understand what I'm saying? until you really shoot yourself in the foot. So I'm kind of like the same way as Nadia husband. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. You can be whoever you are, you can be whoever you tell me, but after a while, you're gonna show me who you are, and that's the way I like to shoot. That's the way I build relationships. Like I said, it doesn't work for everybody. All works up. Some people, work down. It all depends on the person. So
That's a good point.
Good stuff. Yeah, go ahead. Ish, any other?
Wes had something to add.
Oh, my bad, Wes. Go ahead.
Okay. So how do you feel if you lose trust? Are you able to regain it, or is it just over? Like, I can never trust you again. How does that?
Oh, you talk. Oh, you talking to me?
Everybody.
I mean, everybody's allowed to make a mistake, right? We're all human beings. So I'm not a one and done guy. Depending on the circumstance, I'm not a one and done guy because I'm not perfect. And if we all looking for Mrs. or Mr. Perfect, we're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna have this conversation years down the road. So I mean, like I said, I treat it like, all right, first one was on me. First one's on me. All right, you got me. Second one is on you, and it's over. Once I lose that second trust, that's how I do it. You understand? Because like I said, we're all human beings, man. I'm not gonna act like, I'm perfect. So that's the way I do it. It doesn't work for everybody, but that's the way I do.
I agree with Jay on that. I feel like damn, I lost my thought. What the hell was I gonna say? Go ahead, Skeen. I saw you went off mute.
I'm glad you saw that. So like Jay said, I guess is the level of disrespect that person showed you to devalue that trust. I guess if it's something minute, you kind of get the energy like, yo, this dude right here. Like, for example, when I first met Wes, this dude right here. All right, cool. Couple of interactions. I like his style, right? Same thing with Jay. When I first met Jay, I was like, who's this Jay guy? Oh, he's having a baby. All right, where he at? Why he never at work? So that was the image, right? And then all of a sudden, Jay came through. Boom, boom, boom. Couple of shifts, couple of weeks. Boom. I already knew. All right, that's my main dude. So it's all that, right? As there's been times where you know what I mean. No, I mean you just gotta. I think it's just that trust level, and if have they ever crossed that line of disrespect? There's gonna be times where me and Jay disagreed on stuff. That's cool. That's every day. But there was always that level of respect. As when I met him, he was a young man back in the days and stuff. I still had hair too. But we never crossed that line, right? We never crossed that line. It was always that mutual respect for his hard work and dedication. So there was never that breakdown. Now, there's been other people that we've worked together with, or I've worked later on. They truly crossed the line. Boom. It was severe. Done. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a forgiving person because, like, there's been times, I mean, Jay told me to take my job and shove it up my ass, but he's on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. I understood. I put myself level. You know what I mean? I put myself at what's going on. So to answer your question, I don't want to make it winded. It's just the levels of disrespect that happen. There's gonna be misunderstandings, but if there's stuff that you kind of cross the line and you can't come back from that, then you're done. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff.
Listen. Oh, you're not gonna leave it there because if anybody knows Skino, he gets under your skin. So I was saying kiss my ass, but I was really walking away and pray to God he don't fire me. But yeah, Skino man always been like that's another foul thing at work, man. So I learned a lot from him, man. So on that note, I could never stop thanking Skino for that, man, for real. So much love for that, man. Much love.
Anybody else want to jump in? Nadia, will you want to jump in? How do you handle that?
I mean, I personally have a very hard time regaining trust, but I think that goes back to how I start with no trust. So it takes me a long time to even get to be able to trust. So once that's broken, it just sets me back over twice. So
Nadia's like, she's like me. She's just, I'm sorry. It's just, it takes time for me to trust you 100%. It takes time. But now let me ask you a question. I know the answer for myself, but I want to hear from you if we're still riding that same wave. So when they break your trust, right? Depending on the level of breakage, I guess you want to say, and you have a hard time, is it because of a disrespectful thing, or is it something that there's some people that have been able to regain that trust from you?
Again, I guess it depends on the type of violation. I mean, if it's the greatest violation of my trust, I just don't think I would ever bounce back from it. So
Right. That was the answer I thought about. You disrespect at a certain level, you know.
That's the thing. I feel like, when you said respect, that was a big thing. Like, you could break my trust, but did you disrespect me in the process? What kind of breakage is it? I'm the kind of person who's like, I believe in second chances. We're human. We fuck up all the time, day in and day out. Like, what are we gonna do? It's always something that we're learning. But it does come down to respect. Like, if you disrespected me, then that's a different thing that we're gonna have to assess, aside from the trust itself.
but I mean, what is what is a breakage of trust that you don't consider also disrespect?
That I don't consider disrespect? Oh, that's a good question.
I think that
Because I
varies
can't
in
separate it.
relationships, or are we talking about friendships? I think there's different levels of disrespect depending on which one it is.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I mean, could you come up with something off the fly?
Okay, like my best friend can't cheat on me, so that's not the same level of disrespect. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
of
So
course.
that's different.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, what situation would you have, trust broken that's not considered disrespect, whether it's a friendship or a relationship?
Small lie. I was here, but I was there. And
Okay.
then, like, if it's something minute, like, yo, why wasn't you at the spot? Man, my car was acting up. But nah, you really just went to go get some food or something real quick, so you was late, so you just lying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's disrespectful, but I ain't mad at you. It's just like, bro, stop lying. Just tell me what really happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stuff like that's little. Like, that's not really nothing major to me.
Yeah.
But like a real violation of trust is like, let's say you did like I'm picking something wild. Let's say you did like a wild ass crime and I just picked you up and now you in my car. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, that's wild disrespectful. Like, I don't know if you be my friend no more if you put my life in danger.
Yeah.
Like, so
Well,
it's like,
yeah, of
it
course
kind
not.
of depends. Obviously, it's a case by case scenario. It's a friend by friend scenario. It's a relationship by relationship scenario. Some of
Yeah.
our friends we know are wild. When you went to go pick them up, you knew this might be a wild experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of your friends, you're like shocked if it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. No, that's very true. I really can't think of something specific where, you're breaking the trust with me, but you're also not disrespecting me. I would say in most cases, if you're breaking my trust, it probably is disrespecting me. Whether, it's a lie because you can't be honest with me, or, if you're cheating on me, or if you're talking behind my back and you're saying this instead of that, so many different scenarios, but I definitely can't handpick something where it's breaking trust, but not disrespect. It's a
I
little
like
different.
I like what you brought up each to about the respecting, because I think a healthy relationship we're always gonna bump heads, right? Because we always learning from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So what might and we always do white lies, right? It's just like what say you tell me you here, but you went to get a burger because you didn't want to share with me type, mess, like you
Yeah.
didn't want to share your fries, you know what I mean? So it's that's why I always say we always got to give each other a chance, man. We all human being, and like I said, we always learning something new from our significant other, and we always going to learn something new about us. We're not the same person we was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe not even yesterday. So it's all about growth. So
It's
that's
super.
my opinion there.
Skeen, we always say, or not always, but most of the time, like the topics that we're discussing and whatnot, we say a lot of those things stem from childhood. And as much as I want to say this stems from experience, it doesn't. Because, like, in a situation where, okay, my trust was broken by X amount of people in the past, and I'm going into something new, but I'm going into something new with that level 1 or 100% trust. So, how can I base that on past experience if I'm, that, again, quote unquote, healed or past it? So I don't know if I would even consider this something that stems from childhood or experience. I don't know personally what I would correlate that to, but I was
No,
thinking that mid topic.
right now, I mean, you could. I mean, trust, obviously, when you're little, right? Trust can be an issue. You trust your parents, right? You trust your parents to take care of you. That's your first trust, right? As a little kid, you trust mom's bosom, you trust dad's strong arms, so on and so forth. When that is broken, man, that's gonna have a lot of issues from you trusting people, right? Because your caretakers, the people that brought you into the world, they're not there. They spank you, or it was whatever it was, whatever treatment you got from them. So it can be a trust issue from that point of view, from that beginning.
Mhm.
And then trust issues can be all your relationships that you had, friendships, and like if you had your best friend, you had a boyfriend. Next thing you know, your best friend is have cheating with your boyfriend. That's an issue. Now you be like, damn, I can't even have a best friend. So
Mhm.
that's another trust issue later down the road. So everything does stem from something that you failed at, or something that you were betrayed by, right? Or a person you were betrayed by. That's what I meant to say. So I can say, yeah, it could come from childhood. It can come from experiences. It can come from just general stuff that we go through in life. I mean, like I said, I know every time we do these these topics, we always veer in another in a
Direct.
code and stuff
Yeah.
here. Yeah, we went from opposite sex to like trust, but
I
to
like that. I like that though.
right, to tie it all to the beginning, I guess we all agree that having opposite sex relationships, friends, and stuff like that is all trust, right? Is all trust based,
I trust.
Doable, but
right? How much trust are you going to put on that person to do you right and do by you right? Correct. Um, I just want to hear some final words. We'll start with the married woman who's faceless for today. Give me your final thoughts. Something that you want to leave our audience, just something from experience, or something that you want to share to our audience.
I would just say that everyone has their own unique boundaries for whatever reason, and relationships are just about caring enough to understand the other person's boundaries and the root of them, and also caring enough to be flexible and just kind of look inward and assess yourself as well.
Give me your last word. Give me your last thought on what made Nadia say, "Yeah, this guy right here, he won my trust, or he won my confidence." What was it? What was that one requirement that he checked the box?
I think just caring enough to make an effort to make me feel secure.
I love that. I love that. Wes, final thoughts. Give me that, and give me that one magic that's been working for you and your young lady for a minute now. Hit me.
Uh, uh, Boils down to trust is always the key. I'm a very trusting person once it's established. So if I'm with somebody, that means I really do trust you. I don't find myself wanting to be with many people. So that's one thing. To carry it back to our previous topic, men, women, friendships, I am a firm believer in if somebody's going to cheat on you or do you dirty, doesn't matter if they was their friend or not, they're going to do it regardless. So me restricting you from having friends or restrictions or borders or whatever we want to call it, if that person wants to do something, they're going to do it regardless.
Respect. I love that. I love that. Jay, hit me with it.
Never take anybody's advice about your relationship. Don't let nobody tell you what works for them is going to work for you. And most importantly, like I said, always, always, always be forgiving, because as you be in a relationship 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, you guys are always going to bump heads. You guys are always going to have differences. But learn to trust each other, and always keep respect. And I think that's the main ingredient in any relationship, whether it's friend, workers, anything. It's like once you lose that respect, there's nothing else. There's no loyalty, there's no trust, there's nothing else. So I always have a respect for each other, respect each other's boundaries, whatever it may be. Always trying to find somewhere in the middle, and be good to each other.
Cool. I appreciate you guys. Nadia, Wes, Jay, thank you so much. This was awesome. I know our
Thank you
mic,
for having us, man.
I know the mic issues was all right. My man Jay out there living by 34 precinct, but I respect that. Thank you so much. Ish, hit me with it. Final thoughts. And if you have I don't know if you have a gem for us.
I got you.
Yeah. Oh shit, guys. So Listen, before Ish hits you with the final words and the gem, thank you so much. This was an experience for me and Ish doing this panel. So if you guys are listening to our podcast, thank you. From here, the United States, all the way to the Netherlands and in between, I appreciate y'all. You never know, man. Reach out to us. We'd be more than glad to put you on this panel. Hopefully we get everybody to cooperate with video, audio. I mean, actually video, because Nadia right now is incognito. But I appreciate her time. Thank you so, so much. You guys have been fantastic. So thank you so much. Ish, hit them with the final words. And of course, what we call the gem.
I just want to say my favorite thing is communication. Without communication, there's no trust, there's no foundation. You got to communicate, you got to set your boundaries, you got to have these discussions. As awkward as it is, Jay, you got to talk about it. That's super important. From there, you'll just build up.
Nice. And the gem.
And I got you, my guy. In a high trust relationship, you can say the wrong thing and people will still get your meaning. In a low trust relationship, you can be very measured, even precise, and they'll still misinterpret you.
Awesome. I love that. Guys, thank you so much for Nadia, Wes, Jay, Ish, myself, your boy Skeen. Thank you so much for sharing this hour with us. Hopefully you guys are tuning in, leaving your comments, do what you got to do. Remember, we're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Odyssey. I'm missing someone. iHeartRadio, YouTube. We're there. We're everywhere. Thank you so much for making Talking That Ish and Skeen podcast successful, as little as it may be. We appreciate it so much. Guys, thank you once again. We'll talk to you next week. Be safe. Have a tremendous week. Take care of each other. Peace.
Talking That Ish and Skeen.
Show you right.